right, we are live.
Call the October 6th DAEA meeting to order. 10:02. Roll call.
Mr. John Smoot,
Here.
Mr. Call, that's me. John Swisher is absent. Sheriff Bobby Eggleton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Minutes, August.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of posted.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Citizen concerns? Do we have any?
This is where you can ask your questions if you would like to ask any questions. Okay.
All right, new business. Case 2254.
All right, so 2254, this should be toward the beginning of your packet on your tablet. I don't have a tablet in front of me. Here.
2049 Riders Creek.
2049 Riders Creek, yes, sir. And there should be photos on the PowerPoint. As you can tell, there is a dilapidated structure and abandoned. Overgrown vegetation. We've reached out to the owner and we have not heard back from them. So, I recommend that we proceed with whatever action you guys would like to take.
Does the owner of this property live local?
They live at, let me find their address.
Showing they live in Hurricane.
Okay.
Yeah, Route 3, Box 107, Hurricane, West Virginia.
And were they sent a certified letter
Yes, sir.
and they received it?
Yes. I don't have a copy of it here, so it's,
What's the pleasure of the group?
Well, I've been out there and taken a look at it, and it is completely open, completely unsecure. And of course, you can't even get to the structure with the overgrown vegetation. There is some type of a little storage structure attached to the end. It's painted red. That's about as close as I could get to it.
I make a motion, we forward this to the county commission for further action. The action being the removal of the mobile home and the removal of the mobile home. Barns are a little different, you know, our county's polluted with barns that are kind of like that. So removal of the mobile home would be my recommendation.
Is there a second on the motion?
I would second that.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
all right. Case 2256, which is 2038 Eaton Lane in Hurricane, West Virginia. This is a similar, start that. This one, if you look on your PowerPoint, from the street is a perfectly fine house. The backyard is a different matter. I didn't want to make this call at the staff level about whether or not we proceed, so I'm bringing it to you guys. Vehicles that have been broken down, burn piles, wood piles.
Is this out Hurricane Creek?
This is, I'm not 100% sure where Hurricane Creek is at.
Springdale Road.
But
it's
I
off
know the
Cow
address
Creek.
to it.
It's off Cow Creek.
It's off Cow Creek. Okay, that's what.
It's across the street from a really nice subdivision. I
Yeah.
know that. There's a nice subdivision out there.
As we all know, the DAEA board doesn't control junk vehicles at this point, but I do. This gentleman has been served by the sheriff's department about his junk vehicles, so that has been addressed.
Okay.
Not corrected, but addressed.
Okay.
But as far as the burn piles and all stuff goes, John, I'll ask you as the fire guy there, is he allowed to burn stuff like that without a
No.
permit? Okay.
Well, now, Bobby, I'm assuming this one picture with a trampoline in the background and that lumber that's stacked up in front of it, is that what you're considering a burn pile, or are you talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing in the picture. That's all that's there in the backyard. That's
No.
what I would consider a burn pile or leftover construction material or something like
No, he
that.
cannot burn that.
I don't know exactly what it is. The
The only thing you're allowed to burn is natural vegetation.
I would assume, this is just me, that the most that we would ask would for him to clean up his stuff, his piles of wood or whatever. This is by no means anything on his house. This is just addressing that stuff in the backyard.
Do we have jurisdiction there?
Larry, do we have any jurisdiction relative to the debris piles and things in the yard of case 2022-56?
I'll bring you some photos.
Larry, it's not a structure. Structures seem to be one, I mean, they're not the best in the world. I know the problem here. This is just like you said, it's backed up against a very nice subdivision. But I've been out there to look at junk cars. He's been informed he's got to move them, get them out of there. But I really didn't see a whole lot of other things that falls within our jurisdiction.
All right, with that, do we have a recommendation?
I make a motion, we move this forward to the commission with a recommendation to clean your property up.
Is there a second?
I'll
And-
second.
And you might want to note in there also that in your letter that you've already been informed by the sheriff's department that the vehicles have to be removed or brought up to standard.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 2022-59.
1 second here, trying to make notes. All right. 2259, this one should be fairly simple. David went out and took some pictures of this property. This one has, at the time of David's pictures, had been demoed, and there was, a pile of stuff remaining, and I got some pictures here y'all guys can look at.
Is it gone?
Well, the gentleman, the owner,
Take a look at this.
yeah, the owner has torn the structure down. The excavator is still sitting there. He told me that this coming weekend, his younger male members of his family are coming to help him get rid of all the demolition debris and get the excavator out of there.
I make a motion, we table this until the next meeting to see if he has it cleaned up.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All right. 2263 is 9 Riders Creek Road.
It looks like the same mobile home.
This
It's-
trailer.
they're right
is-
next to each other.
Yeah, this is right next to the one we did previously at 2049 Riders Creek Road. So they are very similar, and they both have very similar issues as far as the structure being abandoned and/or unsecure, as well as the vegetation being completely out of hand.
Two separate owners.
This one is owned by a Miss Parsons. Let's see who the first one was owned
Yeah.
by. A
Different
Mr.
owners.
Kersey. So yes, it appears they were two separate owners.
They are, yeah, stone's throw from each other.
They look same color shutters too. Too weird. It's a pleasure.
Make the same motion that the mobile home be removed from the property.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next.
All right, so 2264, property 165 Poplar Drive, Scott Depot, West Virginia. This gentleman, and I found this out this morning when I checked my email, stopped by later in the afternoon yesterday, sent me some photos showing that all of these issues have been resolved. Unfortunately, his email or my email did not receive those photos or did not send, so I found that out this morning and had no way of contacting him. But I can tell you, I've seen it for myself. This property has been cleared up. The structure has been secured. And if you would like to table this until the next meeting, I can go out there, drive out there and actually take photos of it so y'all can actually see the photos.
Have you seen it yourself that it's cleaned up?
Not in person, but he did provide photos yesterday afternoon of the structure and it
And
is
in your
cleaned up.
opinion, it fits?
Yes,
the
in my
criteria?
opinion, we don't need to waste any more time on this.
I make a motion to dismiss this case.
Is there a second?
Well, second.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
There's no reason for it. Your word is good enough
Okay.
for us.
All right, well then, take my word for it, it has been resolved. All right. The last one, I just closed up my agenda here. Case 2265, 24 Marina Drive in
Oh,
Hurricane.
wow.
Let's turn over here to that.
Are there pictures in here of that?
The photos
2265.
are the last 5 or 6
last
on your
set.
PowerPoint.
Got it. Oh, wait.
This one, a very similar situation to the one on Riders Creek, the two trailers on Riders Creek. I will say we sent the certified letter to the owner and it was returned to me. So unlike the others, this gentleman, even though we did what we were required to, send it to his address, for whatever reason it came back to me.
Who is it?
Ollie Freddie Nazier, Nazier. 117 Marina Park, Hurricane, West Virginia, is what his address is showing. And that's what we sent it to, and it was returned.
Could he have simply just not picked it up?
I think we could table this until I think he needs to be notified first. And I'll bet you $1 to a donut that that individual does not live anywhere close to Marina Park. I think he owns properties down there. If the name sounds kind of familiar, if you look into our tax office, run that name, have my chief down there check that name, you'll probably find a real address on that. And
Okay.
we could probably get him served that way.
Okay.
If we find a good address and it continues to not sign for it, we'll serve him with the sheriff's department.
Okay, well, that's easy enough. So we will table this one until our November meeting and until we can find an actual address.
I think this fellow owns a few Marina Park addresses.
What was his address?
The address that is showing on our county data, that's how we got this address, is 117 Marina Park in Hurricane, West Virginia. This is one, two, and I will tell you, 2 or 3 of these, or actually 4 of these, were cases where I started at the 1st of September, but Tina had already either been in contact with these people or had done certain aspects of each case. And so I tried to step in and fill the gaps where there was gaps from her absence and my starting.
That mobile home is exactly across the street from 117. And 117 appears to be a house. But it is exactly across the street.
If you'll send me an email, I can try to help you out with that by doing a little drive-by and knock and talk and see if
Yeah.
we can actually locate. If that is another rental, then we'll find out where the landowner's proper address is.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to find, if Tina left any notes in here, but I'm not seeing any notes. But yes, I will send you an email. We'll table it. Obviously, it's gone a long time being neglected, so what's another 4 weeks until we meet again to make sure we get it right? So let's table it, and we'll go from there.
Make a motion, we table that, or I don't think I need a motion for that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And jumping down to staff report, I don't have a staff report per se. I want to address 2 things, or maybe 3. One, if there's anything unfinished that you know about that you and Tina had been working on, feel free to reach out and tell me. I'm still going through the office and I'm finding sticky notes and things of various items relative to this or unrelated to this at all. But if there's anything unresolved or outstanding that y'all had been working with Tina on, don't hesitate to let me know. I can very easily overlook something in that office right now. And so that's the first thing. The second thing, one of the things I found out, today's meeting is the first Thursday of the month. Our bylaws, or at least the ones that I have, require us to meet the second Thursday of every month.
Didn't we change that? I know it was on
We
the
changed that,
agenda,
Larry.
but I don't know if it got transformed. We approved new bylaws too. We did.
So,
I don't know if that was changed or not. I know that we brought bylaws that
Look,
may need to be changed again. I know Ms. Patty's talking about moving to the first Thursday of the month. But I think it currently states it's the second Thursday, and if that isn't available, that would be the third Thursday.
we did vote on that.
Yeah, we did.
We voted on that. So.
And the reason Tina wanted to move it to the first was due to the fact that she was running into a 30-day delay because we met sometimes after the county commission.
yeah.
And then the first Thursday allows us to present to the first county commission meeting.
I am completely open to any day of the week, any Thursday of the month. I don't necessarily have a preference, but I do need to be consistent with the bylaws. And the ones that are in my office show it to be the second Thursday, but apparently if y'all have updated those bylaws, then I need to find a new copy of the bylaws. And I also need to.
Look at the date on those bylaws. And
Go
then,
back through, well, now this may be a task, but if you would review the minutes in the last 6 months, you would find that.
Yeah, I've tried, we're trying, it's still a work in progress to review things
And if you can't, then by the next meeting, I mean, we can just
We can do it again.
do it again.
All right, well, I'm going to assume that the bylaws that y'all approved are somewhere, and if y'all guys approved it to be the first Thursday of the month, then I'm going to assume, unless Larry says otherwise, that we can proceed with the first Thursday of every month, since they approved new bylaws saying that.
Could just be
Okay,
a situation where it's probably in the minutes, and maybe it just didn't get transferred to the official document, you know, in the change
I'll tell you how
in personnel.
I'll tell you how we can take care of all this. I make a motion that we make the first Thursday of the month the DAEA board meeting.
There's a second.
I will second that.
Comments or questions?
Larry, does that take care of it?
Can we do that?
It may, I haven't reviewed that for a while. I was thinking, and I know there's some bylaws or the ordinance, that it has to be, 2 readings, I would before you can do it.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. All right, we'll make this the first reading then, okay?
and my other,
Check that, this may work.
Okay.
I've looked at that for a while.
can we call special meetings? And could we qualify the first Thursday of November a special meeting?
Okay, so we'll make this the first reading, a special meeting on the first, which should
And
be
then we
covered.
probably have to meet again on the,
well, let me ask
Second
this.
Thursday.
Since technically this committee is probably a subcommittee of some sort,
No.
it's not a subcommittee? So none of our ordinance changes or bylaws changes, no, bylaws, none of our bylaw changes have to go through planning commission or county commission?
this is
So
a
y'all can-
standalone agency.
Okay, all right, well, look at us. I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
All right,
If, Larry will tell you that if I had to answer anybody, I wouldn't be sitting here.
there you go.
Our powers lie within the commission's authority.
And I think, I haven't looked at all of my email chain, but I think all of y'all have seen David's email regarding Denise, I believe was her name, being removed from the board because she moved away.
Yeah, Destiny.
Or Destiny, I mean, and a potential, was his name Nick?
Yeah, Nick, yeah, he took Destiny's place at the health department.
So hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll have our 5th member present as well.
Is Marcy still on,
No,
did they formally remove her? That's what I wondered.
she wasn't formally removed? Marcy is no longer part of this, correct? Okay, right.
Oh,
I
she
thought so.
resigned.
Resigned.
And they haven't filled her spot, have they? So we have 2.
So, yeah, we have at least one at-large seat open, correct? If Nick is approved, then we'll still have one at-large seat, I believe.
I don't think.
We'll have 2 after Nick? Oh, okay.
So the board, a full board would have 7 people? 6 members? Okay. All right. All right, well, that's all I have in my staff report, unless somebody can think of anything else.
Ms. Meadows is here about a property that was corrected, and that case number is,
2203, right? 2203?
okay. I make a motion that we dismiss that. We appreciate the destruction of that piece of property that's been there my whole life. And we can totally appreciate that. I'm sure of it. And we as the county appreciate that very much. And so I make a motion, we dismiss that case.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Is there adjournment?
I would make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
We're out of here.
We're out of here. I don't know if they told you, but you have the most difficult job in the county.
I figured